The candles flickered between us, soft light dancing on his face. I smiled. Happy anniversary, Ethan. He didn't smile back. We need to talk. The pit in my stomach tightened. That sounds serious. It is. He leaned back in his chair, eyes cold. I'm leaving. I laughed too loudly. Leaving? For work? A trip? For good? His tone was flat, practiced. I've accepted an offer from Mr. Lawson, vice president position. That's great. I tried to understand. Why would that mean he wants me to marry Clara? I froze. Clara, as in his daughter? He nodded once, not looking. Ashamed. The watch in my hand felt heavy. We've been married 6 years, Ethan. I know. He reached for his glass of wine. This is just business. You'll be fine. Just business? My voice cracked. Our vows were those business too? Lena, be realistic. You know how much I've worked for a chance like this. I thought you were working for us. His eyes flicked to the table, avoiding mine. This is bigger than us. I set the gift down between us. Open it. He hesitated, then unwrapped it slowly. The silver watch gleamed under the candlelight. His jaw tightened as he read the engraving. Forever yours. Nice, he said, but his voice was empty. I swallowed hard. You could at least pretend this hurts you. I don't see the point in dragging it out. You deserve someone who can give you more. More? I almost laughed. You mean more than loyalty? Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I stared at him, memorizing the lines of his face, the way his hand rested so casually on the wine glass. You'll regret this. He met my gaze finally. I don't think I will. The silence stretched, broken only by the faint hum of the restaurant. I stood. Then I won't waste another minute of my life on you. His brow furrowed. Where are you going? Home. To pack. Don't worry, I'll make it easy for you. Lena, don't. My voice was sharp enough to stop him mid-sentence. Enjoy your business deal. I walked out, the cool night air biting at my skin. My heels clicked on the pavement, each step louder than the last. Maya's voice echoed in my head from countless late-night talks. Men like him will always choose power over love. I had always defended him. Not anymore. My phone buzzed a text. From Ethan. I'll have the papers sent next week. I didn't reply. Instead, I looked up at the city skyline. Somewhere in those glittering lights was a future where I wasn't the woman he left behind. That night, I swore I'd never be powerless again. Maya tossed the envelope onto my table. You're just going to sign them? No fight for the house? The car? I stared at my coffee. No, her eyes widened. Lena, he's walking away with everything. Good. Let him think I'm weak. She shook her head. You're scaring me. This is not the time for dignity. This is the time for blood. I'm saving my energy for the right fight. 2 weeks after that dinner, I stood outside the courthouse. The air smelled like rain. Maya was beside me, arms crossed. You sure you want me here? She asked. Yes, just don't react. Inside, I spotted him instantly. Ethan, immaculate suit, smug smile, and Clara perfect hair, perfect skin clinging to his arm like she'd been born to own it. Maya leaned close. That's her? I nodded once. Clara Lawson. Clara's gaze slid over me, slow and assessing. Lena, I've heard so much about you. I smiled faintly. Funny, I haven't heard a thing about you. Ethan's jaw tightened. Let's keep this civil. Oh, I'm civil, I said. More than you deserve. The judge called us in. We sat, papers shuffled. Ethan barely looked my way as the terms were read out. Maya whispered, you can still contest this. I don't want scraps. I murmured back. Ethan signed quickly, almost eager. When it was my turn, I held the pen for a moment. My hand didn't shake. I signed. That's it, the judge said. Marriage dissolved. I stood, smoothed my jacket, and walked toward the door. Ethan called after me. Lena, I stopped but didn't turn. Don't. You made your choice. Clara's laugh was soft, mocking. Some women just can't handle losing. I turned then, meeting her eyes. You'll find out what losing feels like, Clara. Eventually. Her smile faltered, just for a second. Outside, the rain had started. Maya pulled out an umbrella. I'm proud of you, but you're freaking me out. You didn't even flinch. In there, I flinched inside. Then why didn't you fight him? Because I'm not fighting for leftovers. I'm building something bigger. She studied me for a moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, just promise me you'll let me watch when you burn him down. I laughed under the rain. Front row seats. We walked away from the courthouse, my heels splashing through puddles. I didn't look back. There was nothing there for me anymore except a man who thought I was done. He was wrong. The apartment was barely big enough for a bed, a desk, and a stubborn sense of independence. But it was mine. Maya eyed the peeling wallpaper. It's cozy. It's temporary, I said, setting down a chipped mug. I'll make it work. You're working yourself into the ground. I'm surviving. Surviving meant long nights at a dying company, taking extra shifts until my eyes blurred. Some days, I wanted to quit, but every time I saw Ethan's smirk in my memory, I pushed harder. One Thursday evening, Maya texted, "Dinner, my place." No excuses. When I arrived, a man was sitting at her table, dark hair, rolled up sleeves, calm eyes. "Lena, this is my cousin, Daniel," Maya said. "Daniel, meet the most stubborn woman I know." I took the seat opposite him. "That's one way to introduce me." Daniel smiled. "She says you're good at fixing things. People, problems." "I just work," I said. "That's good. I run a small tech startup. We're growing, but slowly. I could use someone who doesn't quit when things get tough." I leaned back. "Sounds risky." He shrugged. "Everything worth doing is." Maya jumped in. "She's perfect for it. Organized, relentless, borderline scary when she's focused." "I'm not looking for pity work," I said. Daniel shook his head. "This isn't pity. It's business. Come see the office tomorrow. If you hate it, walk away." The next day, I stood in a modest workspace with mismatched chairs and buzzing computers. Two young developers argued over code in the corner. "It's small," Daniel said, "but we're building something. I can offer you operations manager. It's not glamorous, but you'll have control over how things run." I crossed my arms. "Why me? You barely know me." "I pay attention," he said simply. "Maya told me you walked into a courtroom, faced your ex and his new fiancé, and didn't blink. I like that kind of composure." I laughed once. "You call that composure? I call it survival." "Same thing," he said. "So, yes or no?" I hesitated. "I don't trust easily anymore." "Good," he said. "Neither do I." That made me smile just a little. "All right, I'll try it." "Not try," he corrected. "Do it." The first week was chaos, broken processes, late deliveries, miscommunications everywhere. I stayed late, reorganizing schedules, streamlining reports. One night, Daniel stopped by my desk. "You know you don't have to fix everything in a week, right?" "I know," I said, typing. "But if I can, why wouldn't I?" He chuckled. "You're going to burn yourself out." "I've been burned before. I'm still here." He studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Fair enough." By the end of the month, things were smoother. Clients were happier. Daniel sent me a text one night. "Best hire I've made in years." I stared at it for a long time before replying. Just doing my job. But deep down, I knew it was more than a job. It was the first step toward building something I could control, something no one could take from me. And this time, I wasn't starting for him. I was starting for me. Daniel leaned on my desk. "You've been here 6 months. You realize you've closed more deals than anyone else on the team?" I didn't look up from my laptop. "I realize I'm doing my job." He chuckled. "You're doing more than that. I'm making you COO." I froze. "That's a big leap." "You've earned it," he said. "And if you argue, I'll just promote you anyway." I finally looked at him. "What's the pay?" He grinned. "Enough for you to upgrade from that showbox you live in." "Good," I said. I was getting tired of bumping into my furniture every time I turned around. The promotion changed everything. I managed client portfolios, negotiated contracts, and oversaw new hires. I learned to speak in boardroom language without losing my edge. One evening, Daniel stopped by my office. "Do you ever take a break?" "Not when I'm winning," I said. "You're dangerous," he said, smiling. "I like it." With the pay raise, I moved into a sleek apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows. Maya came over the first night. "Wow," she said, spinning slowly. "This place screams. I'm better without you." I smirked. "That's because I am." "Have you heard from him?" she asked. "No, and I don't care to." She raised a brow. "You'd care if he saw this view." I poured us wine. "Let him wonder. I'm not doing this for him." Still, late at night, I'd catch myself picturing Ethan's face if he saw me now, confident, powerful, nothing like the woman he left. A month later, Daniel called me into his office. "We're going after the Carson account. It's huge. They'll want a face-to-face pitch." "Then I'll give them one." He smirked. You're sure? Daniel, if I can negotiate my own divorce without flinching, I can handle Carson. The meeting went flawlessly. We signed them within a week. At the celebratory dinner, Daniel raised his glass. To Lena, the reason we're still in business. The team cheered. I smiled but kept my thoughts to myself. This was just the beginning. Later, walking out of the restaurant, Maya texted, "Saw Ethan at the mall today. He didn't look so smug." I replied, "Good. Let him get used to it." By now, I didn't just want to be seen. I wanted to own everything he had ever dreamed of, every opportunity, every win, every ounce of respect he'd traded me for. Daniel caught me staring out the office window one evening. "What's on your mind?" "Growth," I said simply. "Good," he said, "because I have something coming up you'll want to hear about." "What is it?" He smiled like he was keeping a secret. "Not yet, but soon." I didn't push. I'd learned that in business, patience could be sharper than aggression. As I packed up for the night, I glanced at my reflection in the glass, poised, composed, untouchable. I was no longer climbing just to survive. I was climbing to dominate, and I wasn't anywhere near done. Daniel walked into my office holding a folder. "Got something interesting." I looked up. "Good interesting or bad interesting?" He dropped it on my desk. "A small logistics company just went on the market. Profitable, solid contracts, decent fleet. The parent company wants to sell fast." I opened the folder and froze when I saw the logo. "Lawson Group? Yeah, you know them?" I kept my voice even. "I've heard the name. They're big, but they've been cutting costs. This branch is one of their smaller ones, but it could fit perfectly with our operations." I flipped through the financials, my mind already racing. "What's the asking price?" "Reasonable," he said. "We'd have competition, but nothing we can't handle." I set the papers down. "We should bid." He studied me. "That was fast. You're usually cautious." "I'm decisive when I see potential." His lips curved. "Potential or a challenge?" "Both." Daniel nodded. "All right. I'll put together the initial offer. We'll need to visit the site, meet their management. When's the deadline?" I asked. 2 weeks, then we move now." He tilted his head. "You sound genuinely motivated." I smiled faintly. "Some opportunities don't come twice." He left, and I leaned back in my chair, letting the thought settle. The same Lawson Group where Ethan had landed after betraying me. The same man who'd traded our marriage for a position in that empire. Maya called that afternoon. "You sound like you're plotting something." "Just business," I said. She snorted. "Your just business tone is terrifying." "Spill." Daniel. "Found a logistics company we might buy." "Owned by Lawson Group?" Silence then. "You're kidding." "Nope." Her laugh was sharp. "Do it. Please tell me Ethan still works there." I didn't answer. "That's a yes," she said. "Oh, this is Poetic. It's strategy," I said. "And I'm not telling Daniel the personal side." "Why not?" "Because some wars are best fought in silence." The next week, Daniel and I visited the company. The building was modest but well kept. Trucks lined the lot, drivers milling around. "This place runs tight," Daniel murmured. "That's why it's worth having," I replied. Inside, we met the interim manager. I asked questions about routes, fuel costs, turnover. Daniel watched me, impressed. On the drive back, he said, "You really want this one?" "I do." "All right," he said. "We'll make the bid aggressive." That night, I sat in my apartment, lights off, city glowing outside my window. The thought of owning something under Lawson Group's nose made my pulse quicken, not just because it was business, but because it was personal. Ethan had chosen that world over me. Soon, part of that world could be mine, and he'd never see it coming. Daniel's grin said it all. "We got it." I leaned back in my chair. "So Lawson Group is officially out of the picture?" "They signed this morning. Effective immediately. You're head of the new branch. You report only to me." I nodded. "Good. When do I start?" "Tomorrow. But if I know you, you'll be there today." He wasn't wrong. By noon, I was walking through my new building. The air smelled faintly of diesel and fresh paint. Drivers stood in line at dispatch, papers in hand, and then I saw him. Ethan. No tailored suit, just a company polo, cargo pants, and a name badge. He looked up, and for a second, neither of us moved. His voice broke the silence. "You?" I kept my tone even. "Me." He blinked. "Yeah, bought this place. I run it," I said. "Bought by my company. I'm the head now." His mouth tightened. "So you're my boss?" "Looks like it." I let a small smile touch my lips. Life's funny. He glanced around. We should talk. About what? I asked. Abuthus. Us. What happened? There is no us, I said. And what happened is history. You have an assignment to get to. He stepped closer. You can't just, I can. I cut in. In fact, I just did. A driver behind him cleared his throat, and Ethan stepped aside. Daniel joined me in my office later. Settling in? More than you know, I said. He raised an eyebrow. Something I should be aware of. No, I said smoothly. Everything's under control. After he left, Ethan appeared at my doorway. 5 minutes. You're wasting them already, I said. He sat without permission. You look different. I am different. I made mistakes, he began. I'm not here to hear confessions, I said. I'm here to run this company. I didn't think I'd see you again, he said quietly. I didn't think I'd want to. His jaw clenched. You think this is some kind of revenge? I tilted my head. If it were, you'd already be gone. His gaze searched mine. So why keep me? Because I don't make decisions based on spite. I keep good workers. Are you one? He hesitated. Yes. Then do your job. For a moment, he didn't move. Then he stood, stiff. You've changed. I smiled faintly. You have no idea. When he left, I looked out the window at the lot below. Trucks rumbled out, one after another, the company running like a machine. I'd won the bid. I'd won the position. And I'd won the unspoken war without even firing a shot. Karma, it turned out, didn't always knock. Sometimes it walked right past you in a uniform. Daniel leaned against my desk. You should use our drivers for your meetings. Saves you the hassle of parking. I looked up. Any driver? Sure, just request one. I tapped my pen. Then I want Ethan. Daniel's eyebrows rose. That Ethan? That Ethan, I said. Minutes later, a black sedan waited out front. I slid into the back seat. Ethan didn't turn around. Where to? He asked. Voice clipped. I handed him a card. Here. He glanced at it, started the engine. His knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. After 2 blocks, his voice broke the silence. Linus, this your company? I looked out the window. Drive. He inhaled sharply but said nothing. The hum of the engine filled the space between us. At a red light, he glanced at me in the mirror. You planned this, didn't you? I met his gaze briefly. Not everything revolves around you. He shifted. In his seat. Feels like it does. Then that's your problem, I said. He gripped the wheel tighter. Do you enjoy this? Watching me, careful. I interrupted. You're still on the clock. We drove past rows of glass buildings. His reflection in the mirror looked older, sharper, but also smaller somehow. You could have picked anyone, he said finally. I did, I replied. Why me? You drive well, I said. That's all that matters. His laugh was bitter. That's not all. I didn't answer. T the next stoplight. He turned halfway toward me. Do you hate me? No, I said calmly. You're not worth that kind of energy. He flinched. Then what am I worth to you now? Exactly what you're doing, I said. Driving me where I need to go. His jaw worked silently as the light turned green. We reached the building. He pulled to the curb, still gripping the wheel like it might save him. I opened the door. Be here in an hour. Lena, I leaned down. Don't be late. His eyes held mine for a beat, searching. Then he nodded stiffly. Yes, ma'am. I walked away without looking back, but I could feel his stare following me. Inside the lobby, the polished marble reflected a calm I didn't quite feel. My pulse was steady, my breathing even, but beneath it all, there was a quiet satisfaction. Ethan had once been the man who thought he could walk away without consequence. Now, he opened doors for me, waited in the car, and drove me to meetings. The roles had shifted, and I wasn't about to explain how. For the next 3 weeks, every time Daniel asked if I needed a driver, I said the same thing. Ethan. He never protested, just appeared outside my office when needed. Morning, he said one day, holding the door open. Conference room building on 12? I told him, yes, ma'am. We drove in silence. I'd learned to recognize the tension in his grip, the way his shoulders stiffened at every stoplight. Halfway there, I caught voices outside the car. 2 junior employees walked past, whispering, that's her, the ex-wife of the former VP, and now she owns the company. There. Laughter faded, but the words hung heavy in the air. Ethan's hands tightened on the wheel. You heard that? I said quietly. I hear a lot of things, he replied. Do you? His jaw clenched. They don't matter. they do to you, I said. He stared straight ahead. It's just gossip. Truth wrapped in gossip still stings, I murmured. The rest of the ride was wordless until we pulled up to the building. I'll wait here, he said, voice low. I stepped out, met a client, and returned an hour later. He was still there, window rolled halfway down, staring at nothing. Back to the office, I instructed. Of course, as we merged into traffic, I studied the side of his face. You've been quiet lately. I'm driving, he said. That never stopped you before. He exhaled sharply. What do you want me to say, Lena? That I regret everything? Only if it's true, I said evenly. His eyes flicked to the mirror. It's complicated. It's simple, I replied. Actions, consequences. He gripped the wheel harder. You think I don't know that? I think you're only starting to understand. The rest of the way, neither of us spoke. But I didn't need his words to read him. The way his shoulders hunched slightly, the way his chin dipped, the way he avoided my eyes. It was all there, pride breaking piece by piece. When we arrived, I gathered my bag. Same time tomorrow, I said. His voice was tight. Yes, ma'am. I closed the door without another glance, but in the reflection of the glass lobby, I caught him watching me. And for the first time, he looked smaller. Rain blurred the streetlights into streaks of gold. Ethan pulled up in front of my building, wipers beating a slow rhythm. You can go, I said, reaching for the door handle. His voice stopped me. I turned. What? He stared at the steering wheel. I made a mistake. I raised an eyebrow. Only one? His throat worked. Clara left me months ago. I waited silent. Her father fired me, he continued. Yeah, I had nowhere else to go. The rain drummed against the roof, steady, relentless. Is that supposed to make me feel sorry for you? I asked. No, he said quickly. I just thought you should know. I studied his face. The shadows from the dashboard lights carved lines deeper than I remembered. Some mistakes can't be fixed, Ethan, I said. His fingers flexed on the wheel. I didn't think it would end like this. You mean, with me in the driver's seat? I asked, lips curling. He gave a humorless laugh. Yeah, something like that. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The rain filled the space between us. I was wrong, he said finally. About everything. About you. That's convenient now, I replied. His jaw tightened. You don't have to forgive me. His voice cracked. I wanted to say it. I looked at him, really looked. The man who once walked ahead of me as if I was baggage now sat gripping a steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping him steady. You wanted to clear your conscience, I said. No, he whispered. I wanted you to know I regret it. All of it. I leaned back. Regret is cheap, Ethan. You pay for it, but you don't get anything back. His mouth opened, then closed again. I should go, I said, reaching for my umbrella. Lena, I didn't let him finish. Good night. I stepped out, the cold rain biting against my skin. My heels struck the wet pavement with sharp clicks, each step pulling me further away from the warmth of the car dot in the reflection of the glass doors ahead. I saw him still sitting there, motionless. I didn't look back. Daniel's voice was calm, almost casual. We want you on the board, Lena. Full voting power. I sat back. You're serious? Completely, he said. The parent company needs decisive leadership. You've proven you have it. I didn't need to think long. Then I accept. 2 weeks later, the first agenda item hit my desk: departmental restructuring. I read the performance reports twice. Ethan's division was a drain. Numbers don't lie. A T the next board meeting. I spoke up. Terminate underperforming departments. Immediately, no one objected. When HR sent the notices, I didn't have to see his name to know it was there. Still, a part of me wondered how fast the news would reach him. It didn't take long. That afternoon, my office door opened without a knock. Ethan stood there, the crispness gone from his suit, eyes hollow. Do you have a minute? He asked. I gestured to the chair. For you? Always. He sat, leaning forward. It's true, isn't it? You shut down my department. I didn't flinch. The board did. His jaw clenched. But you pushed for it. I met his gaze. I did. He swallowed. Please, I'll take any job, any position. Any job? I asked. Yes. His voice cracked. I'll start over. I'll work my way up again. Just don't push me out. I leaned forward slowly, resting my elbows on the desk. You already had the best job, Ethan being my husband. His eyes flickered, like he'd been punched, and you threw it away. I whispered. He exhaled shakily. Lena, I was stupid. I thought I was trading up. I didn't realize you didn't realize I could stand without you. I cut in. He rubbed his hands over his face. I've lost everything. I can't, you can, I said. You just don't want to face it. He looked at me then, desperate. So that's it? You won't help me? I tilted my head. Help you? When you didn't even stay when I begged you to listen. That was different. No, Ethan, that was the same. This I gestured between us is just the consequence. His shoulders slumped. I'm not asking for pity. I'm asking for a chance. I gave you a chance, I said softly. 7 years of them. Silence stretched. Outside, I could hear the faint hum of office chatter, the clink of a coffee cup somewhere down the hall. Finally, he stood. I hope you're happy. I met his eyes one last time. I am. He walked out without looking back. The door clicked shut, and I leaned into my chair. My hands were steady. My heartbeat was calm. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was proving anything to him. I had already won. I didn't see Ethan after that day. Not in the lobby, not in passing, not even in the news. My days filled themselves board meetings, site visits, late-night strategy calls. Success became routine. One evening, Daniel stopped by my office. You're still here. I glanced at the clock. Just wrapping up. You work too much. I enjoy it, I said, stacking the last of my files. It's not work if it's mine. He smiled. Dinner tomorrow? No business talk. I hesitated, then nodded. All right. When the elevator doors closed behind him, I exhaled. The next week, I was on a plane to Paris for negotiations. My assistant, Claire, slid into the seat beside me. You're going to win them over in one meeting. I smirked. I plan to. She studied me. You've changed since I started here. Lighter somehow. Maybe I finally stopped looking backward. That night, in my hotel suite overlooking the Seine, she knocked again. One of the investors wants to meet you for breakfast. Set it up, I said. After she left, I stood at the balcony doors, Paris glowing beneath me, my reflection in the glass looked unburdened. Weeks blurred London, Singapore, Dubai. When I finally came home, the penthouse felt warmer. Lived in. Daniel came by again, holding a bottle of wine. Celebrating? I raised an eyebrow. What for? For closing 3 deals in 1 month. That's not normal. It is for me now, I said, laughing. We sat on the balcony, city lights stretching for miles. You've built something incredible, he said. I sipped my wine. It's not just the company, it's me. I'm not the same woman I was 2 years ago. No, he agreed. You're stronger, sharper, freer. I added. A comfortable silence settled. Finally, he asked, do you ever think about him? I considered the question. Not in the way you mean. He's part of my past, but that's all it is now. A closed chapter. You don't want to see him again? I shook my head. No, what would be the point? Closure? I already have it, I said. Every morning I wake up here. Every deal I sign, every step I take forward, that's my closure. He smiled faintly. That's poetic. We talked until the city quieted. Later, after he left, I lingered on the balcony alone. The wind was cool against my skin, carrying the faint hum of traffic far below. I thought about the woman who once begged a man to stay, the one who measured her worth in his attention. She felt like a stranger to me now. I didn't need revenge anymore. I had something better, the life he could only dream of, and that, I realized, was the sweetest justice of all.